What is up, Critics? In this video I'm going to be giving a guide for this week's normal time trial, RC Bandito time trial, and the premium race totaling over $300,000. Remember, the time trials can only be completed once a week for the full $100,000 payout. The premium race, however, can be completed in a limited amount of times with a 48-minute cooldown between each win. Also keep in mind that rocket-powered flying vehicles cannot be used in time trials. So, starting off with the time trial this week, which is Vinewood Bull, I highly recommend either the Hakuchu Drag, Shotaro, or a Baddie 801 for this time trial. Now, this time trial is definitely one of the more tricky ones because of how long it is and the different shortcuts and routes you can take. Now, in terms of those routes, depending on what vehicle you're using, there are two different routes you can take. The first one uses the train tracks, and the second one cuts through the military base. Again, these are the two main shortcuts everyone uses. And this one is more for the higher top speed cars, the military base route. However, since I'm using a lower top speed car for this one, I will be using the first route that cuts through the train tracks. As always, I will be attempting to use either the casino podium vehicle or the prize ride of the current event week on these town trials if they're quick enough to complete them. So for this event week, we have the Calico as the prize ride and the Nebula Turbo as the casino podium vehicle. Now, the Nebula Turbo is very slow and pretty much has no chance at beating this time trial. However, the Calico, on the other hand, does. Now, if you're doing the train track route, I highly recommend using a bike, but I'll be using the Calico, and you'll see why I'm saying the bikes are better for this route, because I definitely had a bit of a rough time with this one with tons of close calls, especially at the end. But anyways, here's my run in my fully upgraded Calico GTF. Moving on to this week's RC Bandito time trial, which is Little Seoul Park. As always, you need to own an RC Bandito in order to participate in these. So this RC time trial is pretty tricky to do because of the uneven surfaces, tight areas, and high-speed sections as well, so make sure to let off the throttle during most of those areas to maintain the stability of your Bandito, and brake for some of those tight areas, especially near the staircase. And lastly, we have this week's premium race, which is Congestion Charge. So this one is restricted to the supercars class. I highly recommend either the Vest 8, Emirates, or Krieger for this race. Now this race is pretty simple for the most part, and the main thing is to slipstream your opponents as much as possible to not get left behind. Also, for the first corner, make sure not to hit that wall on the outside because it will make you go over that wall and you pretty much lost the race at that point. So depending on how fast you're going because of all the slipstream you're getting, make sure to let off the throttle or brake accordingly for that corner. Now the best car for this race in my opinion is the Vest 8 due to its top speed advantage in comparison to the Emirates and Krieger that typically fall behind when slipstreaming during the highway section. Now in my race I was going back and forth with another Vest 8, and in the end it came down to who was going to get that last slipstream, so that's why you saw us letting off the throttle going back and forth to get that last boost. And that's it, guys. The normal time trial is pretty tricky, but if you use a bike, it should be a lot easier. The RC time trial is pretty difficult as well if you've never done it before, so just make sure to let off the throttle for most of it. And this week's premium race is pretty simple if you can keep up slipstreaming with your opponents. Again, remember guys, you can earn over 300,000 between the three of us week, and setting yourself a goal to beat them is always a lot of fun in my personal opinion. Let me know which one you found most difficult and what vehicles you used down below in the comments. Thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next one.